It's time for the Daily Stand Up Podcast presented by AgileDad with your host, Lee Henson. Without any further ado, let's get started. One of my very dear friends struggles with ADHD, and he asked me, he says, so, how does ADHD impact my ability to really be successful in Agile? And if there are any pitfalls that I should avoid or I should address, what should be the number one thing that I should address? And after careful consideration, I thought that I would talk about something that we refer to as time blindness. Now, many of you may not be able to experience this or understand this unless you also suffer from ADHD. But this is what happens when hyperfocus sets in. So when you have hyperfocus and it just really drives in, it creates something called time blindness. So let me try to explain this the best I can. Time blindness is a common experience among individuals with ADHD. It refers to a difficulty in accurately perceiving and managing time, often leading to challenges in estimating the passage of time, planning, organizing, and adhering to schedules or deadlines. People with ADHD may struggle to gauge how long it takes to complete, frequently understanding or overestimating time based estimates. This can result in chronic lateness, missed appointments, difficulties in prioritizing tasks effectively. Time blindness can also impact one's ability to engage in long term planning or foresee the consequences of time related actions. Okay, so let's pause there for a minute. That was obviously me reading from a website. What I can tell you is that time blindness is very interesting to me because what it is it's another supporting piece of evidence that time-based estimation is something that people in general struggle with. So I don't know that this is directly related only to people with ADHD. I think within teams, people just they struggle talking about how long something's going to take. I mean, even if you've done it over and over, I guess there are a few exceptions. If you are an Olympic athlete and you run the 100-meter dash every single day, you could probably give a good estimate for how long it's going to take you to run 100 meters, right? But it's one of those things where if you're not, at your peak performance and doing the same exact thing over and over again, time-based estimates are more wrong than right. Now, the studies that I read from Gartner and others say that you should expect about 17%, that's 17%, accuracy when it comes to your time-based estimates. So how does this tie back to time blindness and how does it tie back to Agile? So my friend gave me a list of 5 ways or 5 things that they had to understand to help them better manage their own time blindness. Okay, so I'm just going to read these straight from my friend. So here we go. Number 1, I base my personal planning on empiricism and expect extra time when something is unknown. So when he says empiricism here, he's talking about making sure that everything is transparent and that we're doing inspection and adaptation, right? Knowing that things are going to change before they change. Okay. How about number 2? I use the daily scrum where I often inspect and adapt my own personal plan to make adjustments where needed. Beautiful. I think that if you use the daily scrum as a meeting to do this, and if the whole team does this, it's going to help everybody remain on task, be on the same page, and avoid taking in things that are interruptions and help people stay focused on accountability. And number 3, I make sure that any task I have is cut up into the smallest pieces, which can be done within a maximum of 2 hours if you try. This is one that I think a lot of people lose hope and give up on because sometimes they'll hit that what I call the biggest frog, right? It's the live frog that's the one that they dread breaking down the most, so they dread cutting up into small pieces. But the truth is, if you just get through it, pound through it, break it up, break it down, then you're going to be able to more easily consume it, and it's just going to make a lot more sense to you. All right, how about number 4? I use a weekly goal to make sure that I make progress in small, significant ways. I thought that's cool. So even if you're just setting your own personal weekly goal, saying, hey, this is what I'm going to achieve this week, and then work towards that goal, it's going to help you stay focused without being completely hyper-focused. And then finally, number 5, I time box all my tasks to create focus. I don't want to work on something indefinitely. I don't want to only work on it for a short amount of time, which isn't enough to get something done. I want to make sure I have a good balance between those things. And I'll tell you right now, these 5 tips are very wise tips. If you can nail these 5 things, I guarantee you your ADHD and Agile will work very well together. And you'll see that Agile is actually a really good fit because the honest truth is most of us struggle with time based estimations anyway. So, time blindness, while it does apply specifically to people with ADHD, I think that we all have a little bit of time blindness as well. That's going to do it. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have a topic you want us to discuss, learn more at agiledad.com. We'd love to hear from you. As always, we encourage you to stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. Until next time, do take care.